the key parts to writing a good story is having a wide cast of a variety of characters to write about, but sometimes it can be difficult to develop characters to the point where you're ready to talk about them and write about them. This can be a common reason why people struggle to plot, write and sell their novels, and as such it's a really key thing to get absolutely right. So without further ado, let's do this! So you may already have an idea for a character. It may just be a bare bones idea, you may have an idea about what they look like, or just their general role in the group. Your story might call for a pilot being a part of the group, and as such you have a character labelled the pilot, but you're really struggling to flesh them out as a character. Although visual appearance is important for helping your readers visualise your book, it is far more important to get a character with a vivid personality that people can relate to and believe. Your characters need to feel real to your reader, and it adds layers of believability to your story, draws them in and keeps them hooked and engaged. It helps people empathise and engage with the struggles that your characters are going through and root for them to win. After all, characters and their decisions on how to handle situations will 99 times out of 100 be what drives your plot forwards. So one of the first things to do once you've sketched a rough plot is to chapter plan alongside detailed character plans. Or at least that's what I do. Remember, I'm just making recommendations. I do an in-depth character study of almost all of the characters in my book. I work out their date of birth, their likes, their dislikes, what they look like, where they were born, what their background is. Do they have any pet peeves? Do they have any hobbies? But most importantly, I ask myself, what are their ideals? What are their morals? What could make them compromise those morals? How strongly do they hold on to such morals? How do I plan to make them relatable? And how would they respond in different situations? And knowing these things about your character can really make writing easier and can be a great driving force for the novel and the book and help you with your plotting. Knowing these things can really be a great driving force if you're struggling to plot your novel or come up with a storyline, because now you know how your characters are going to react when they're thrust into a situation. It'll create tension, it'll create drama, it'll create possibilities that maybe you wouldn't have thought about before. But making your characters relatable isn't always easy. For example, let's take the character Tris from the popular Divergent series. Spoiler alert. Tris is a character that people immediately begin to identify with, and that is something that Veronica Roth did very, very well with her series. Veronica Roth's Divergent series' target audience was young adults, teenagers. What makes Tris so brilliant is that she is in a parallel situation with a lot of teenagers. She is in a situation where she doesn't like where she's at, she's uncertain about her future, and she has to make a really big decision about the change and direction of her life without really knowing much. All she knows is that she's unhappy where she is. Now you can draw very similar comparisons to a lot of teenagers and young adults nowadays who have to sit exams and pick A-levels and GCSE choices and university courses when perhaps they don't know much about life and are unsure about where it's going to take them. As such, this makes Tris as a character extremely relatable to the target audience and is one of the driving factors that makes her a lovable, believable character. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about the plot or any of the other characters in the book because I do not want to spoil the book if you haven't read it. Putting all of these things together is what makes Tris a believable character, a character that people want to root for and want to succeed. So think about each of your characters, whether they're main characters or side characters, villains or heroes. Their backgrounds, beliefs and relationships could widely change how they interact with people as they go throughout the book series, and they'll really help them to pop off the page. Once you've done this in-depth character study for each of your main or key characters, go back and look at your plot. Make sure your plot lines up with how each character would behave in these situations. Look at each scene, each decision they've got to make, and make sure that your character would actually make that decision. Perhaps they would no longer agree with what was said. Perhaps they would propose something different that could potentially be turned down by someone else. Perhaps they'd get into an argument about something else that could have been said. Tensions may rise. People may get angry and upset. Perhaps they would even change their plan of action and go about something completely different. And if that works for your plot and you think it's intriguing to follow, then you should absolutely follow through on that. I am a firm believer in letting the characters drive your plot, not the other way around. Making sure your plot and your characters' choices line up is incredibly important for fluid reading and believability of a novel. If something seems out of place, your reader is going to realise that, and even if they can't put their finger on it. Kind of someone who's really anti-violence, a major pacifist, turning up, killing someone, and then not losing a night of sleep over it. they would have been tormented with that decision to act violently. Someone with a deathly fear of drowning is not likely to willingly and without a fight get into a really tippy boat. You need to make sure that the plot lines up with character decisions. I'm actually going to do a whole separate video on character relationships because I think that they are perhaps the most important part of writing a novel, so I'm going to do a whole separate video on that. I think that character relationships are phenomenally important in making sure that your book is a good book. Getting back on track, when you know that your characters and plot fit together, you know that you've got substance for a good, believable book. And you may feel like you're ready to start writing, and if you're ready, go for it. Don't be discouraged if it doesn't come easily at first. Definitely writing first drafts is difficult. It takes a lot of practice and can seem really unnatural, particularly at the beginning and if you've not got a lot of experience. Again, I think I'm going to do a whole other video about starting your first draft because I think that's a hurdle that everyone needs to jump separately. Well, that's all from me this week. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked this video, please do hit that big subscribe button and make sure to tune in to all my other writing advice videos. Developing your characters is a hugely important subject. It may even be more important than the plot. Next week I'll be talking about different ways that can help you design characters if you're getting stuck. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and if you've got any questions, just leave them in the comment section or just contact me on any of my social media platforms. Once again, I've been HT King and thanks for watching. Bye!